Hey there folks, welcome back to Let's Play Secret of Evermore. I'm the MysteriousJG. You may have noticed that we're not where we were at the end of the last video, and that's because I realized after doing those recordings that I had missed some alchemy formulas. That it would be difficult. Let me change the sound settings for myself, sorry. It'd be rather difficult for us to go back and get. So what I thought I would do is, since neither of these are alchemy formulas I planned to actually use, I figured I would at least show you how to acquire the formulas and see the dialogue, and then just load state, and we just won't have them in our playthrough, but you'll at least get to see them. And we might go back and get them later. There's a point later in the game where you can travel back and forth between the previous areas to some extent. We'll see whether it's possible that when you backtrack, you will lose your opportunities to get certain stuff, though. But again, since we're not actually going to use these formulas, I was just going to show you how you get them, and then just go with it. So we'll intentionally fall into the pit. You may notice that I equipped the axe. Some of you may have been talking in the comments about how I missed this. I believe I'm a few videos ahead on this series, not as far as I am with Neo, but I've got a few in the can. And I don't believe... If anybody's talking about how I missed this stuff, those videos aren't public yet. But yeah, you saw I can use my axe to destroy those borders that we were seeing. And in this case, it's a bunch of stuff that we can't do anything with it anyway. I don't think there's anything else to get down here. Oh no, there is again, it's just pots though. More water. See, not a huge deal. But if we are to actually head back to... Oh, and somebody pointed out this, you can run farther with charged up weapons. Which I guess was one of the ways I could have done that puzzle earlier, where you have to run and the floor is disappearing underneath you. But in fact, this is the cave of import, as it were. Now, this guy gives you a certain formula if you encounter him before you defeat Aegis, the weird mask boss, and he gives you another formula if you come visit him after you defeat Aegis. So in this save state, we've already beaten Aegis, so I think he's going to give us the second reward and then go back and talk to us like he never met us before. Hey, you're the kid who saved us from our corrupt, depraved, and dishonest former leader. Good job. Please take this double drain formula with my thanks. So I'll de-equip escape and equip double drain. Seals enemy hit points. Just mix ethanol with vinegar. You'll drain hit points from the enemy and give them to yourself. Would you like to purchase ingredients? Sure. Now, we don't actually have ethanol, so I could be buying tons of that from this guy. And this is the one thing I might miss when we load state, is that I will not have had an opportunity to buy ethanol. So if we find anything else that needs ethanol, we'll be stuck. See you later. Hey, now here's what you get the first time you encounter him, and in this case the game is confused because I got the second reward from him, and now I'm getting the dialogue for the first reward. Hey, how did you get in here, kid? What happened to the barrier? Oh, I get my timer back up where I can see it. I hit it with my axe. What are you, Elias Sampson? I guess he doesn't call his guitars axes because they're acoustic. So you did. That's the bronze axe you have there. You've been in the Great Pyramid. You're quite an explorer. You know what you need? You need the drain formula. Now I could get rid of Revealer and get Drain. Just mix 1 part ethanol with 2 part roots. You'll drain hit points to the enemy and give it to yourself. Would you like to purchase ingredients? Nope. And we will not have him record our progress. But we will now see we have the Drain spell and the Double Drain spell. Big difference between them being that Double Drain both of them use ethanol, but Double Drain uses twice as much ethanol, and it also uses vinegar, which we need for the Sting spell, and which we cannot easily replace. So basically, they're both like a Drain spell in a Final Fantasy game. From what I was seeing on the facts, neither of them are impressive with how much they drain from enemies. So as much as the idea is appealing, and it's obviously more effective leveled up to 9 than it is now, like 4 hit points that sucks. And we're using a ton of, especially with Double Drain, we're using a lot of really expensive ingredients every time we cast it. So were we to level it all the way up to level 9, that would require a lot of work and grinding. Not that I'm afraid of doing that work. But the result would still be a spell that would be difficult to maintain the ingredients to use. And we've already got really highly leveled up healing spells, so why not cast a spell that's really good at damaging enemies more than Double Drain can, and then separately cast a healing spell to heal ourselves, rather than trying to get something that does both jobs poorly. For some reason, my mind is now drifting to reports and various history texts that Der Fuhrer, back in World War II, Mr. Hilter himself, kind of infuriated his own generals because while they were developing this Messerschmitt 262 jet fighter technology, he insisted that it be a fighter bomber because he wanted one plane that could do everything. And amongst those people who love to study the history of World War II and to come up with weird fantasy scenarios that make you kind of wonder about them, about how the Germans could have won, a big one was, oh, Hitler didn't know military stuff, and he stopped the German jet planes from retaking the skies by insisting they... I'm way off on a tangent. But that's what I think of with this. This is like, here's something that does two different things, but it's shitty at both of them. It heals you, and it damages the enemy. Just like the Messerschmitt 262 heals you and damages the enemy. Anyway, I'm way off topic and getting a little weird here. A little punchy today. So now we're going to go back to where we ended the last video, which is with our dog having run a race against pigs. Who owns this pig? Is it Charlotte the spider? Does Charlotte own a pig somehow? I guess that would be me. You, sir, will be the guest of honor at the Queen's banquet tonight. Congratulations. Congratulations. Well, Tina Medina, it looks like you've done something right for a change. Tina Medina has saved your bacon a couple times. Bacon being ironic in this case, since the dog is dressed as a pig. We can ask the Queen if she knows how to get back to Podunk. Suppose you could. So the kid goes off to be guest of honor, and what happens to the dog? The dog follows at a discreet distance. The winner of the pig race is here to meet the Queen. That sounds like some kind of really weird racist thing. Like, the champion of the pig race is here. What are you calling the pig race? Why are you racist against my people? Arg, I had a week's pay bet on Trouble. Go on in before I change my mind. Hey, shopkeeper shouldn't be wagering an entire week's pay on pigs. Hey, Tina Medina, where did you run off to? I hope he doesn't get into too much trouble. Well, a dog sure does love getting into zany trouble. Honored guests and assorted rabble, may I have your attention, please? Achtung, babies. Dinner will begin once Her Majesty arrives. Wow, this is some fancy castle. I've heard that Flem the Fancy did the decorating. His use of tapestries is simply to die for. And you should see his custom bookcases in the study in the East Wing. Maybe a hint. Even use gold paint on their backsides. They are gorgeous. Flem has such taste. Everyone, please be seated. The Queen is about to arrive. People of Ivor Tower, distinguished guests, I present to you Her Majesty the Queen. Ooh. Thank you all so much for attending. She's, for anyone listening to my fantastic voice acting and not watching, the Queen is portrayed with a completely unique sprite to indicate just how immensely fat she is. Thank you all so much for attending. We hope everyone has a wonderful time. And who do we have here? Oh, and by the way, our hero just jumped out of his seat and ran up to the Queen at speed for some bizarre reason. No one tackled him to stop him from what appeared to be an assassination attempt. This young man is Ray Chesney, the owner of the Winning Pig, Your Highness. It's a great pleasure to meet you, Mr. Ray Chesney. You may call me Queen Bluegarden. Hi. You haven't seen my dog, pig dog, have you? What is he, a Schweinhund? He followed me to the castle, and then he just disappeared.
Say goodnight, my little piggy. You shall be my masterpiece at the Queen's dinner.
Oh, he's supposed to be French. You are not a very pretty piggy, are you?
Sacre bleu, you are not a pig.
Well, whatever you are, Pierre shall make you tasty. Oh, come on, Pierre, you're a French chef. You're not supposed to be making Korean stew. Sorry. That's not... I'm allowed to say that. There are, in fact, Korean stew dishes that, you know, you can look it up. It's a real thing. You use dog bones in the broth.
Come to Pierre, you son of a motherless rodent.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries. So Pierre is gone, but we are allowed to come back to the zone where he was. And in fact, I barely remember this, but this is a ventilation shaft maze, where we were chased into a ventilation shaft by Pierre of the Quebecers. So I don't remember the solution to this maze at all, so this might be quite a few very dull videos here. As the dog, you can't really open doors and you can't collect items. So I don't think we have to worry about having a lot of really fancy treasures to miss. On the other hand, it's entirely possible there'll be cute little like optional dialogue that we will miss. And I'll be very sad if I find out that happened. But I'm not willing to break out a fact just yet to try and see. Locked. See, the doors, it says the doors are locked. I'm thinking just based on the fact that you're a dog, it doesn't really matter if the doors are locked or not. You're not going to be able to open them if they are not already open for you. Locked. Now, they said something about the east wing of the castle having fancy bookcases, so I guess we need to look out for that. Full disclosure, after I was done recording the other day, at the end of my session, I spent just a few minutes playing around with a maze and didn't manage to get to the solution in the handful of minutes I put into it before stopping. But it really didn't seem like I could... Ooh. You can actually charge up attacks. That might be worth knowing. But yeah, I didn't actually feel like I knew what I was supposed to be doing. And I think I found a room with lots of bookshelves, but didn't really do anything for me. So, at least, if nothing else, a ventilation shaft maze, I mean, that's a big thing to make fun of when doing parodies of movies or any kind of, like, film criticism channel or account on the YouTubes. The silliness that is, all these buildings always have ventilation shafts that could fit people. I don't know why no other building in the game has ventilation shafts and suddenly this has ventilation, like an extensive system of ventilation stuff, but I would argue that it makes a little bit more sense for a poodle to be able to make its way around one of these than for a human to be able to. But I really haven't the faintest idea what we're supposed to be looking for. And we do not have the option of switching to the kid, because I just tried. Whoa. What was that noise? I don't know what that noise was, but I feel like that was probably supposed to be a clue about something going on. I'm pretty sure I got to this room with the bookshelves in the background. This would seem to drop you in behind the bookshelves. Or Or not. Believe it or not. So when we made our way over to a certain corner, there was a beeping noise. And you know what? When I was goofing around with this before, off screen, like I said, just a few minutes before dropping my play session entirely, yeah, this thing blinked on to give you the path, but it was very much. I don't think I had the sound on. Ah, here we go. I did not find this.
Hello, little one. I don't get many visitors down here. This key around your neck will help you in the castle. Oh, my bursitis. Now, where's my tonic? My, but you're afraid, little boy. Your mother must be worried. Now, run along. Oh, my bursitis.
Okay, I get those 2 zany messages from her, and that's it. So it sure does feel like that's going to be it for. I guess that means we can now open doors. That would be a pretty big development. Because yeah, I was goofing around without the sound on and not hearing those sound cues to be listening for stuff. But she said the key around her neck would help us. I don't get it. Well, we haven't finished exploring the place, but she said that key around your neck will help you. The dog doesn't have an inventory for me to play with, so what am I supposed to be doing differently? So make my way back over here. I can look for additional secrets over here. Like, oh, she's a false alarm. You're supposed to find her and think, oh, she's the secret. But in fact, there's further secrets to be found. Well, thought that was happening for a minute, but I think this is actually a false path to get to her. Well, maybe not. It would truly be a lovely place to use those zany last generation emulators always used to have a way to shut off background layers, which in like the fog based mazes in Final Fantasy would suddenly become much easier. Because it would actually show you the correct, if anything where the correct path is laid right out plainly and blocked off by some layer of graphics to make it challenging. It would So somebody was asking in the comments section, like, kind of teasing me about wandering around back and forth and making the pyramid section really challenging by going back and forth and not mapping it properly. And you know, frankly, my recall of the pyramid section was one of the ones that gave me more trouble, and I had to replay through even as a kid. But they were asking me, what do you think little kid JG would make of how much trouble you're having? I was like, yeah, little kid JG would probably be like, what the fuck are you still doing playing these games? Don't you A, have better games to play, and B, have better things to do than play these games? That is probably what little kid JG would ask. Little kid JG would also probably want to know why I wasn't married to like a supermodel by this point in my life. Having assumed that that was in his immediate future. Okay, so we're right back here again. And I've really got no idea what meeting that lady did for us, because it doesn't look like it opened any doors. I was all excited thinking, hey, finding this key will make it way easier for us to navigate around here, but then that's not really how it worked out. Again, I mean, unless I'm losing my mind and there's some basic control mechanism I'm forgetting. Oh, I can sniff. But once I found some place to search, I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, I'm searching around it's not doing anything. I haven't spent much time playing as the dog, because there's generally not that much reason to. So the question is, how quickly will I give up and turn over to a FAC? And I'll tell you the truth, what it comes down to is, I'm sure I wandered around, with Bobo watching quite a bit in the old days, not quite knowing what to do. And eventually we found where to go. And now it's like, well, I don't really want to do that on camera. Because it's not as, like, fascinatingly frustrating as, say, the Fangbacks maze was. But, I also just kind of don't want to spend the time on it in my own real life, because I've got other stuff I need to get done today. When I have time to just dick around with video games right now, I'm pretty much spending that time on Neo. I'm enjoying the LP of Secret of Evermore, but I kind of don't want to turn a whole lot of time over to... Ow. It's a great noise. I'm getting way far south there. Oh, I'm going right back to the beginning. Maybe this is where the key will work. Because this door is not indicated as being locked. Well, you know what? I might be finding alchemy ingredients and the dog's not allowed to pick them up. Not allowed to take out Pierre of the Quebecers. Did seem like I had another... middle path now. Seems like I should be able to interact with the tree. I am a dog after all. I certainly haven't been everywhere yet. The big complaint about Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders is it used mazes to kind of fill out gameplay sometimes. Well, that's an interesting room. I don't know that I've been to before. Maybe the idea is that once we're reunited with the kid, we would need to find that, we'd need to have the key that the lady has basically just informed us that we have in order to do what we need to do. I'm trying to get over to the further the west of there, but yeah, this game has lots of little mazes. So I guess I'll spend the rest of this video working on this. Part of me wants to go over here, and this is as far north as we're likely to get. This seems kind of hidden-ish. And dealt with that before. Yeah, I wonder if you got to come back with the kid, and he's perfectly good with going through all these vents too, but he gets to actually unlock doors and, better yet, unlock chests. Well, I don't know, folks, but I kind of feel like I'm not getting anywhere, so maybe this is as good a time as any to call a video. When we come back, I imagine we'll have a little bit more wandering to do in the ventilation ducts as our Poodle log. I'm MysteriousJG, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.